Oh, my friends. Sometimes, and I feel like an explanation is own. Sometimes, very rarely, days like this happen, where everything possible goes wrong. We love our production crew. They are doing everything within their power to make sure that this action is brought to you, and all of that action will still be brought to you mercifully. Nice break time, end of game 1. So we are still heading straight into game 2 with myself, Relic, joined by Soof. Soof?
I am Soup now. Oh, am I part of Sucreo Sucre now?
Yeah, no, that's where I was going. My head was in Sucreo Sucre mode, who did turn the tables, but Alberona said kind of let it slip from their hands.
They did, and we were talking in the backstage about that Leafeon, how good it was doing, and the fact that sometimes it shouldn't be available because it is that powerful. And that's going to be the case here. Sucreo Sucre does take it out, but the problem is how Alberona kind of slowed down on how they played that Rayquaza. They won the fight, only one member standing, and they still like stalled, waited for a good decision instead of just going for one, either it being backcapping or taking down the Rayquaza as fast as possible. That time allowed for Sucreo Sucre to come back, and you can't make that mistake again.
Leafeon, Hooper, Boswell, Blastoise. A lot of the big hitters from game number 1 off the table. Big reactions from both teams. Sucreo Sucre with that first pick. A first pick that goes the way of Umbreon. Fantastic flex nowadays. Pseudo supporter, should they want. Alberona respond. Had a lot of joy with that Leafeon Crustle. The Crustle at least can remain. Espeon, for me, a lovely trade-in.
I agree. I think it's distilling such good damage, consistent good damage, in spite of the nerf that was, I would say, minimal compared to what we saw from Buzzwole, for example. So it still brings a lot of value for their stored power build. That is a Pikachu. That is the shirt I am wearing right now, although you can't see much. But it is a Pikachu shirt, and well, Relic, that's a little different from Sucreo Sucre.
It is. They've locked in that Eldegoss as well, which was banned away in game number 1. And so, especially given that the Alberona said have stolen away BNJ's Espeon, a change of tack really just does feel like it's just worth doing to keep things fresh. And we've seen Pikachu's utilized here and there in UCS caliber games. They can be really good. Asterisk on the can be. Kopi locking in Lucario, by the way. I'd imagine that would be for Patu. Shandy for BNJ. And if they lock in this Gyarados, that is one of the wildest compositions they are. Wild from Sucreo Sucre. Also, absolutely love it. The potential late game is huge.
I kind of feel like I dig the Sucreo Sucre composition because Relic, they are not just about dealing damage, but they're also about controlling the ground so much. You have the buffs there on bounce for the Gyarados that could come in handy. You also have a good Cotton Cloud Crash for the Eldegoss. You have maybe the furniture just locking the place down for Chandelure build alongside the mean look for Umbreon and the Pikachu, whatever it decides to go for. Thunder is also going to control the crowd really well. So I really like it for some reason. I just feel like they have something very interesting going on.
Well, especially when you compare it to the opposition and how they're playing. They've got two dive options in Lucario and Blaziken, and the Blissey, ultimately, if one of those two is in trouble, has to jump into the proverbial pool to go rescue them. I imagine that BNJ or Benji, thank you very much, chat, I think Benji actually, with Poltergeist, is going to be a real nuisance for them. Yeah. If you hit Flamethrower, we've seen so many Flamethrower builds recently doing so much burst damage in one go. On top of that, you got Pikachu that can deliver stuns, and Thunderstorm, of course, for that AoE, which is fantastic late game. And if you want to go brawler for brawler, well, there's not much better late game right now than Gyarados. A fantastic option with, again, the huge asterisk of make sure that you get that evolution done within the first 2 minutes. So on to Thea Sky Ruins we go, potentially for the last time today. Sucreo Sucre just 10 minutes away from securing themselves a spot in the top 4 of the top 8 of our main event. Actually, let me rephrase that. In our top 8, full stop. Top 4 is a completely different thing. Curious, Soph, to see how the Umbreon goes this time around. Will they go more support, or will they go more traditional mean look defender?
I would say still traditional would work because you have the likes of the Elder Gods that hasn't been nerfed in regards to damage, or in regards to healing, just damage. And now Lucario really doing a lot of pressure here for the Magikarp because you want to try and deny it. But when you have your chance to go into the other side of the map, the Elder Gods can still do much when it's still a Gossifleur, and that is a knockout for the Magikarp.
Oh, Galaxy with the astronomically low chance of getting a knockout with a Magikarp. For the effort gauge, that is outstanding, and there it is already, a sub 1 minute Gyarados. They're good to go. Here comes Benji on the Lampant as well with the top path rotation, and here comes Pikachu too. They are looking to make Alberona sorry that they ever let this composition come to fruition. Jean-Mi, the only Pokemon, by the way, on that Cosmo that hasn't evolved, doesn't matter one bit. 1 KO. Here comes the second on Josmog, and Bliss is gone down at the top of your picture. Sucreo Sucra running rampant.
They are 3-1 for Sucreo Sucra as they win that fight in the top side with a gigantic rotation allowed by the fact that they can just leave the Umbreon alone at the bottom side. And because of it, look at them going for Engage's Relic. Look at them going for Invades, just taking out those buffs as quickly as possible. You have both the Elder Gods and the Pikachu with a blue buff. Now Lucario trying to get something about it. Do you still have movement to get away, Elder Gods? It seems like you do. And they're going to be fine about it and still taking as much of a good result of that early pressure as possible.
Sucreo o Sucra directly translates, I believe, to sugar. Oh, sugar. And those are words, or something similar to that effect, I'd imagine, being uttered out of the mouths of Alberona. This Gyarados is getting scarier and scarier by the second. 100 points exactly. What's that? 2.5 minutes in. I mean, Alberona said, of course, I've got 35 points on the board, but it's the level game, which is already running out of hand. So 7s for the Shandy and Pikachu, 8 for the Gyarados.
Yeah, and this what we mentioned about the Chandelure is that Poltergeist could help so much, and that's going to be one trade back for Alberona. With that, Blaziken get it traded back as well with 1-for-1, and now they have to be careful about how they fight this because numbers advantage is a thing, and there's only so much your Elder Gods can heal.
Yeah, that Shandy rolling with the Overheat as opposed to the Flamethrower, of course. Overheat was very much the bane of a lot of Shandys previously on Battle Hub. Not so much anymore, of course. Despite any irregularities with the Pokemon, it is allowed and is being used to great effect. Regice on the field. Pikachu's gone top path. Big hits eaten by Frigo and by Benji. Looking pretty solid then for Alberona's head. Watch that Blaziken in the tall grass at the top of your picture, but Umbreon's got good vision on them now. Regice falling down to 25% health, and the Midnight Ignite secures the Reggie into the pockets of Sucreo Sucra. Alberona's head forced back onto the T1, or alternatively for a quick score, actually smart play, splitting up the purple squad to make sure that the losses are minimal.
And minimal, but not as minimal for Alberona, as they have just been taken down twice. And in the top side, the Pikachu was trying to take down the Regieleki by themselves, Relic, but it was not possible when they saw a threat of the Blaziken coming into the central area. But the fight still goes here at the bottom path, and they have taken, actually, the Blaziken we were mentioning with the backup of the Elder Gods. Now, Alberona trying to focus onto the Gyarados. There's a good Rock Tomb, but it doesn't really connect as good as they would have wanted. Umbreon still taking a great, huge position at a front line. The Thunder comes in, and that's going to be Unite move from Pikachu as well. They're dealing damage, but nobody really falls until the Blissey does.
Yeah, that wish coming down on the Umbreon as well. Sustain Supreme. Do some quick maths. Figure it out when you get there. 36-point overdunk. Pretty solid if you ask me. Plus 200 points for Sucreo Sucra. Alberona haven't even hit 100, though the 40 dunk on top path from Lucario is a little, is well wanted, but a little too late for my liking. Now Regieleki looking around like John Travolta. Where is everyone? Well, Sucreo Sucra have been playing this macro beautifully, making sure that they punish Alberona's head, not giving them the opportunity to look at the top path yet. KOs galore for this team clad in purple.
Looking so good for Sucreo Sucra, the sugary sugar team, as they are coming out here for the Regieleki. There's the Thunder getting control over the positioning on Blaziken and its easy takedown of Regieleki, how they are scouting and making sure that every odd turn is being defended by everybody. They have control and they are making it work really well. Over the wall they go.
Oh my word, the Psychic Solaire is going to bat people away, but it's only delaying the inevitable. Regieleki hits home, and that T2 is gonzo. 2 KO streak for the Pikachu. Galaxy flies in for the finisher. Okay, the Pikachu goes down in all of that, but 311 now to 86. Josmog not moving. I believe this is a mid-game disconnect. I don't think anything has been called as of yet in the lobby. Obviously, we will await that. Tournament admins are on hand. For the moment, we play on. There has been no referees call, so Sucrea Sucra are free to do whatever they like.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation because you have to get in contact with moderation mid-game for us to deal with the situation as quickly as possible. But right now, they are just trying to go in, and Blaziken is back. They are actually back into the game, Relic. So with Sucrea Sucra guaranteeing another of those Regis bottom, they can push a little bit further. Now with the Scissor and the Rubble as well, they can do more, but can they take it down?
Well, not quite. The Pikachu does pay for the transgressions. Shandy went down a little bit earlier and all of that as well. Despite losing out on the Reggie, partially because of this DC, or maybe it wouldn't have mattered either way, Alberona do have a good chance to get some damage or scores down here, but it doesn't matter because Gyarados enters the fray yet again at level 12. This thing is truly monstrous to live up to its image. Bone Rush in the backline. Crustle goes back to base. To be fair, everybody wants to go back to base, but Alberona said Lucario ain't going to get the opportunity.
No, not fast enough, buddy. There's no speed zone for you to come through. And now with that rotation, Sucrea Sucra goes to the top side. Can have priority on the Regieleki because it's only going to be a defender plus Blissey. So Crustle and the supporter are going to have a very hard time trying to defend against all of these members of Sucrea Sucra. But Alberona said could come in with that stored power. But look at Pikachu zoning them out. And there is nothing, nobody that the Gyarados cannot rip through.
Yeah, Zubat's doing a fantastic job. Galaxy feels like he's just turned Pokemon Unite onto easy mode. What is this? 5 stacks in solo queue. Gets the Regieleki as if he wasn't doing enough already, Galaxy. And the train continues to choo-choo on down the track. The brakes aren't even being thought about at this moment in time. Rayquaza has arrived, Soph. It's Sucreo Sucra's to lose.
328 points against 86 for Alberona said. And a central area fully dominated by Sucrea Sucra going in. But Lucario takes the Pikachu back. Blaziken could even punish the Umbreon as well. But now Sucrea Sucra is trying to get a rip. No, they have been forced out because of that Crustle. They have to disengage.
Pop Galaxy at the home base scoring 100. That's apps. That is criminal behavior from Galaxy. Bought enough time for the Pikachu to find themselves back on Thea Sky Ruins as well, and the 100 of course there brought down upon because the Regieleki was allowed to hit the home base. There was a thought of a rip. Very quickly have to pivot away from that. Did Sucreo Sucra. Overheat goes down. There's a Cotton Cloud crash as well. They need to make this count now, Sucreo Sucra. There's the big old Dragon Current from the Gyarados. Claims the KO. There's one. Still haven't found a second though. Still dangerous for Sucreo Sucra, but the white flag has been flown. Alberona said, no more, sir. We're tapping out here. Sucreo Sucra are in the main event.
That is our final team that comes through regular qualifiers of the Elite Tour that has been confirmed. We have the Nouns Esports, Luminosity, Exile, and Sucreo Sucra being the 4 first teams confirmed into the top 8 of our main event, as you said, Relic, and there's still last chance qualifier on the weekend. Sunday, we'll see all of NA and EU together fighting for the top 4 in that event to continue into main. And this game in particular, the fact that we saw Galaxy on Gyarados on 50 seconds, excuse moi?
Yeah, I mean, look, Patu, I've got to sing his praises, has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant throughout this entire tournament. But that one KO, that K-opener was that was the starting domino in a chain of events that ultimately led to Galaxy just proving to be unstoppable in every single metric that they were involved in. Umbreon and Eldegoss, I think, did incredibly as well. That's a potentially squishy front line, handled the responsibility beautifully. But what I love about this entire result, Sov, is that Sucre, they went bold with their choices. Their choices synergized well, and ultimately they proved that the composition that is very distinctly off meta right now can work beautifully well, and can completely dismantle what we would consider to be a very meta squad.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of a I feel good about my prediction, but also I feel good that it worked for Sucre, because I mentioned that this composition looked to be going for all the abilities they chose, the Poltergeist, the Thunder, the Mean Look, Bounce for Gyarados as well. Everything was lining up perfectly for a composition just really wants to get a late game so solid because they had Gyarados. The fact that they got Gyarados enabled as soon as they did was the extra cherry on top, and I don't think they even expected that to be the case. But as soon as you make a slight disconnected decision with your Chansey going to one side and your Lucario going to the other, and you guarantee a Gyarados on 50 seconds of game, it just really changes everything.
It really does. And speaking of change, well, there's no change on the third screen here as we welcome back our favorite Quagsire. It is Quagashi, back from your little walk around the pond. A thrilling final, a thrilling grand final, I should say, though, for Sucro. Was it enjoyable for you to see so many left field picks coming together into a super team of sorts?
Yeah, I like the water Pokemon when they do big stuff. Especially the Magikarp.
Very big.
You know, that evolving into the Gyarados within the minute of the start of the game is ridiculous. And just being able to snowball that into a success, how can I describe it? It's like a very oppressive win. I have to really applaud both sides for picking up really bold picks and just going head to head here.
Great wisdom as always. Of course, they won't be going head to head again, at least not until the main event. Before that, though, listen, you got a bumper weekend of Pokemon Unite, folks. Yes, you've got the April Cup. Yes, I know it's Unite Championship Series, just a small event, something that I guess, a few thousand people are going to be tuning into. But Sunday is where it's at, because, folks, we're going all Ghostbusters here. The beams are crossing EU and NA, both in the same competition, all fighting it out UCS qualifier style for 4 final slots in the main event. That is the 21st of April, noon Eastern, 6 p.m. Central European time. You don't want to miss it, and I'm really hoping that we see some of our favorites from the previous qualifiers coming back. I'd love to see the Egoists coming back. I would love to see Alberona coming back. Of course, Flaming Hot Depressos over in NA. Phantom Forces went out really early today. Will they have a chance through that bracket? It could be for EU, it could be for NA, it could be a mix and match of both. You don't want to miss it, and you don't want to miss the main event either. That's next weekend. However, before next weekend, yet after this, we do have, get the trumpets out, folks. I don't know whether it's a sad or a glorious tune, but it is our final Open Series ever. And the send-off is going to be with one of our favorite new regions here at Battle Hub. It's Oceania. 23rd, so the Tuesday, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Universal Transcendental Clock Time. I don't know what that actually translates to. It's a pseudonym, or an acronym rather, that has completely flown over my head. I'm pretty sure that's like 10 a.m. British time. No, maybe 11 a.m. EU. You can figure it out. 7 p.m. Austin, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, though. Figure it out yourselves. It's going to be a great time. We do love OCE. And if you do like OCE getting prize pools, maybe check out future events. Ooh, hee. That's a tease. But listen, it's time to cross our T's and our I's as we sign off on this broadcast. Absolutely love working with these two, Soph-chan and Kanashi, and indeed Quagashi as well, all three of us, I should say. It's a pleasure as always, of course, behind the scenes. They have had like a tornado of an event, but we love them. They've done incredibly well. Rosander and Bacon, please give them all the love in chat. Of course, we had Shivam and Keveroni, your moderators for day. The things do not happen as smoothly without them. Much love as always. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for hanging around for all of the tech issues and stuff. We hope you enjoyed the gameplay. We certainly did. Me being Relic, you being you. Have a lovely evening, folks, and we'll see you at the weekend.